What a shit way to open up our podcast. Shannon Spreel, aka Daffney Unger, has passed away at the age of 46. She took her own life last night. Shimmer announced, we are very sad to have to announce the passing of Shannon, aka Daffney Unger. We are posting this at the request of her family. Please respect their privacy at this trying time. So with that in mind, we won't spend a great deal of time rabbiting on in case it causes any discomfort or pain to people. People might recognize Daffney. She was David Flair's manager in WCW. She was also the manager of Crowbar. She was in TNA for a while and unfortunately got some concussions and ended up in a lawsuit, as many did back then with TNA. It was really unsettling. I actually saw it on my Instagram. She posted an Instagram video where she was obviously very distressed that she went live on it. And then I'm not sure if this was actually already on her profile or not, but I noticed her location on her Twitter profile said gone to the other side, which was unbelievably haunting. And then, unfortunately, the news was broken fairly recently, just right before this recording, actually, or being confirmed, because we didn't want to jump to any conclusions that Daffney had passed away.
I mean, I remember seeing it on my timeline on Twitter yesterday, like a bunch of other wrestlers and friends were going, hey, like, if you know where she is, please tell the police, like, we just want to make sure she's okay. And then you wake up the next morning and she's already gone. It's devastating, man. Like, people, the stigma against mental health is still so high when it shouldn't be. But and now we've lost another incredible person because I guess she felt like she had no one to talk to, because it feels like you never do.
Yeah. I don't talk about it much on it, but like we've both been very open about the fact that we've had depression and I've got bipolar disorder, and but I haven't really spoken much about the fact I've tried to commit suicide 4 times in my life. And I'm very thankful that I'm in a place in my life now where I don't feel like that should ever be the case again. I have these conversations with so many people. Unfortunately, when you're in that spot so many times, or if you've spent, like, I was one of the very first people I knew in my circle who was diagnosed with depression, anxiety things, then got the later diagnosis of BPD. And for some reason, everybody kind of gravitates towards you more. And that could be a lot of pressure because mental health is so wickedly difficult. I've always been very proud of the fact that I can help push people in the right direction. We joke a lot on this podcast and we make very offensive jokes at times, but we're very serious about certain things. And that is looking after your own health, especially your mental health. And this should be a reminder that you have to speak to people, no matter how shit it might be. And there's still that ridiculous stigma, especially if you're a man, about, you can't talk about it. You're not allowed to show weakness. I work in the wrestling business. I'm not a full-time professional wrestler. I do wrestle. I do work with wrestling companies with things like graphics. I work backstage with them. I get the chance to meet wrestlers and record shows with them. And wrestling is one of the most notorious businesses for this. Like, I've seen guys go out there and dislocate sockets, broken bones. I've seen people with shards of glass in their eyes and things like that, and they're just like not allowed to react to it. It's like I've got to look like a bloody geezer in front of my fellow professionals. And I understand that to a certain extent. It's a tough sport, but if you break your ankle in front of your fellow peers, like for instance, I broke my ankle on my debut. I actually had 4 compound fractures in my left ankle. That's not fun. And I just got on with it for whatever. Just hobbled backstage in enormous pain and drove 3 hours home, bearing in mind it was on my left ankle, which is the clutch foot as well. And remembering just thinking, I've got to be a man about it. And it took me 3 months to get a diagnosis. Some of that is pig-headed stubbornness, and some of that is, unfortunately, the lack of a decisive NHS. But the reason I bring all that up is because I remember what it was like when it was really dark. I remember waking up in a hospital bed, needing my stomach pumped. I remember, waking up in an ambulance And those things are really, really dark moments in your life. And when you actually attempt it, as opposed to just feeling it, that's like an entirely different mindset. Like that's when it gets, it's such a different kind of darkness. Everything's real pain, but that's real, real, real darkness, because it's almost like a numbness. It's almost like an acceptance of, I'm ready to leave. So if you have any inkling of that, you have to speak to people. There are emergency services, there are hotlines, there are doctors, there is a number of medications, everything at your disposal. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to get your hands on it. I appreciate not every country is the same, but being alive, no matter how fucking shit it, and trust me, I know how shit it gets, I really do, but being alive is very important, and you only get one go around at that, so don't give up on that. And it is really cheesy when people say it's a gift. Oh, fuck off. It doesn't feel like a gift a lot of the time, but it kind of is. And if you don't cherish it or make the most of it, if you rot away and if you stay quiet, or if you don't chase your dreams and things like that, it can get worse and worse and worse. So yeah, it sucks. You know, Daffney was great, and I love Daffney and WC. I had the hots for Daffney well bad. You know, Daffney was definitely my type of lady, and still was, you know, tragically until this day. And always will be. So, you know, I've got really fond memories of that one. Yeah, it's just shit that someone couldn't reach her in time, or that she didn't pick up the phone, because from what I can see, hundreds and hundreds of people rang her. Mick Foley, you know, not just anyone, you know, just everybody wanting to reach out. And, you know, even with that quick response, that wasn't enough. And that shows you that it really is, unfortunately, down to us as individuals when we're in that dark place to speak to people, no matter how difficult that is, no matter how hard the mist and the fog that envelops your mind, no matter how difficult that is, no matter how much that shrouds you from the simplicity of normal thinking, you must talk to people. If I hadn't spoken to my doctor back when I was like 23, 24, I would have had a very drastically different life, which would not have culminated with everything that you see around me now. Well, green screen, whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't be here, simple as that. My doctor was wonderful. Dr. Roberts is somebody I owe my life to. And I still tried to commit suicide after that fact. But there were things in place that I was lucky enough to help bring me back. That obviously isn't the case with Daffney. So, you know, it's another one who you hope goes to the theoretical squared circle in the sky and gets to hang out with people like Randy Savage and Owen Hart and all the other great people, Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that. You know, that list goes on and on. Daffney hopefully will rest very well now. And she will be missed a lot. She was beautiful.
Saw a lot of love on the timeline this morning for her, which was, I mean, delightful. But like, you don't want to say too late, but like, it kind of feels like that. Like, no disrespect to anybody, but just, you know, you look at it all in foresight or hindsight, excuse me, once she's gone. But hopefully she is in a better place now.
Yeah,